Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Good evening. We begin with the breaking news that Deputy Premier Michael Ferguson has succumbed to immense pressure over a vote of no confidence that was to be moved against him in Parliament tomorrow. It's a stunning fall for one of the state's Liberal Party's power brokers, now sent to the backbench after months of sustained attacks over the building of 2 new Spirit ferries. Ruby Cairns joins us now from Parliament Square. Ruby, Michael Ferguson has just fronted the cameras.
That's right, Lou. He's just told the media that he's resigned from Cabinet, also taking responsibility for the political turmoil that's come out as part of the Spirit of Tasmania debacle. He entered federal parliament in 2004, entering state politics in 2010, taking on a range of portfolios including health, finance, housing and state growth. Mr Ferguson resigned as Infrastructure Minister in August over the bungled rollout of new Spirit of Tasmania ferries and port upgrades. And he was set to face a no-confidence motion in Parliament tomorrow, jumping the gun today, the Deputy Premier conceding the numbers are against him and that he has resigned from Cabinet.
It's the brutal mathematics of politics that would very clearly indicate that we don't have enough votes on the floor of the Parliament to sustain a no-confidence motion. In those circumstances, with nobody asking me to, I've offered my resignation.
He will stay on as the member for Bass, making on the backbench, that is, making for a very interesting day tomorrow when Parliament returns, Lou.
Thank you for that, Ruby Cairns at Parliament Square there. Well, the late announcement by the Deputy Premier has topped off what has otherwise been a turbulent day in Tasmanian politics. The day began with the Premier standing by his man.
What a difference 8 hours can make in politics. This morning, the Premier was standing firm, pledging his full support.
Minister Ferguson has paid the ultimate price when it comes to his responsibility by resigning the infrastructure portfolio. Of course, I'm disappointed.
But the wheels were already in motion as the opposition and the crossbench made it clear one by one the Deputy Premier's time was up.
Michael Ferguson is incapable of being honest with Tasmanians about what's happening in his portfolios. He's incapable of taking responsibility for failures.
Labor foreshadowing it would move a no-confidence motion against Michael Ferguson tomorrow.
I think the evidence is now there that this is a level of incompetence that can't be tolerated. We need to hold this minister accountable for the biggest infrastructure stuff up in Tasmania's history.
Jeremy Rockcliffe had strongly dismissed calls to remove the Treasurer from Cabinet, instead slamming the push as a political stunt.
Tasmanians are fed up with the Labor Party and their disruptive tactics, their smear campaign against Minister Ferguson.
But by the end of the day, Michael Ferguson's frontbench future was over. Victoria Eastoe, 7 Tasmania News.
And what's shaping up as a bad week for the government, a fresh poll shows the most recent state budget is not popular with voters. Nick Kelly breaks down the results.
Tasmanians have had just over a month to digest the most recent state budget and it appears it is not sitting well. Pollsters EMRS surveying a panel of 500 voters to find almost half think this budget is bad for the state, while a quarter are on the fence. Just 6% believe they're better off. When it comes to which areas people aren't happy with, it's pretty much thumbs down across the board. Almost 2/3 of respondents are dissatisfied with measures to address cost of living, health, housing and state debt. And when asked to say 3 words that best describe the budget, the most common responses were debt, irresponsible and poor. But when it comes to voting preferences, people aren't feeling spoilt for choice. Just 28% of respondents say they would vote Liberal if the election was held today. Labor isn't making any ground either, with just 26% of first preference votes, 17% for the Greens and 15% independent.
Cleaning staff at the Royal Hobart Hospital are the latest healthcare workers to walk off the job over staff shortages and privatisation issues. They say they're fed up and frustrated, claiming their concerns have been swept under the rug.
They're the backbone of the health sector. Now the cleaning staff at the Royal Hobart Hospital have felt like they've been left with no choice.
Keep it clean! Keep it public! Keep it clean! Keep it public!
Walking off the job for 1 hour, claiming the health department is privatising public jobs by employing contracted cleaners.
We play a very vital role. Without us, basically, the hospital wouldn't function.
These are hard-working, dedicated staff. A lot of them have been here for 10, 20 years, and to see the threat of contract cleaning come in is simply unacceptable.
Frustrated staff demanding shortages be addressed.
I've witnessed that on the ward where I work as well. No gowns, no towels, no blankets in the colder weather.
The union says it hasn't received a clear answer from the health department as to why it would consider employing contracted cleaners.
They're saying that there's staff shortages, which we accept, but the reality is that there is staff available to work overtime and contract cleaning isn't needed.
The health department disputes the claims, saying there are no plans or any intention to introduce contract cleaners to the Royal Hobart Hospital, and that this has been clarified with staff and the union, with correspondence sent to the Health and Community Services Union on Thursday last week and again today.
We are desperate for answers, we're desperate for action. We've been talking, we've been getting very little response.
Workers threatening more action if nothing is done.
So we are quite prepared to take it further, yes.
Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
Hoons have been caught on drone video driving dangerously on the streets of Hobart's Eastern Shore on Saturday night. The video shows a 17 and 18-year-old riding motorbikes in Montague Bay when moments later there was an extended burnout and high-speed wheelie. Police followed the offenders using the drone, eventually leading to their arrest, with police charging them with serious traffic offences. The teens will appear in court at a later date. A local business in southern Tasmania has been damaged after a car crashed into the window of an IGA in Snug, thankfully missing shoppers. Work is underway to repair the storefront. Police say no injuries have been reported. Passengers on board the first Airbus A220 to touch down in Tasmania have given the aircraft the tick of approval. Launceston is the first non-capital city to welcome the new planes, which will replace the retiring Boeing 717s by the end of the month.
Quietly touching down, the new Qantas Airbus A220-300 landing gracefully on Launceston's tarmac. The new planes are larger, able to accommodate more passengers, have bigger overhead lockers and are fuel efficient. Good news for the environment. For passengers, there are also extra comforts.
The windows are 20% larger. Actually, they're the largest windows on any narrow-body aircraft. And also there is fast and free Wi-Fi, which we know our customers really enjoy.
And enjoy they did. Travellers on board this morning's flight from Melbourne arriving with rave reviews.
As far as the plane itself is concerned, I love the extra leg loop.
Very nice, very smooth aircraft, very quiet and nice big windows, so very light and airy inside.
Fabulous.
It was very nice, thank you.
Qantas Link's fleet of Boeing 717s are set to be made redundant as the fleet of 20 A220s are rolled out.
From now on, these aircraft will serve exclusively Melbourne to Launceston, and then in a couple of weeks, on the 27th of October, the aircraft will start operating between Sydney and Launceston.
The new planes giving tourists to Tasmania another reason to fly down.
In tourism, we know that people are really making conscious choices about how they travel, and they want to have those choices and they want to be able to make a difference.
Melinda Ogden, 7 Tasmania News.
Hundreds of cyclists are expected to hit Hobart streets on Wednesday for the annual Ride to Work event. There's a stop along the waterfront for a coffee and treat with a range of resources on hand to encourage more confident riders.
It's open to anyone who rides their bike into work or who would like to ride into work and wants some advice about how to do it.
Drivers should give bike riders space where there's not good infrastructure to keep those bike riders separated from them, but we hope to deliver more separated cycling infrastructure in coming years.
The future gears up from the event gears up from 7:30 in the morning. Returning to our top story, Deputy Premier and Treasurer Michael Ferguson has resigned from Cabinet. Mr Ferguson offered his resignation late today over the Spirits of Tasmania fiasco, appearing with the Premier at a hastily called media conference. It follows continued calls for the Premier to intervene before a no-confidence motion looked likely to pass when Parliament resumes tomorrow. The Premier offering this.
He has been a loyal deputy. He has been a loyal member of our team, and you could not ask for more than in your Deputy Premier to demonstrate such loyalty.
Michael Ferguson will remain in Parliament on the backbench as a Liberal member for Bass. Equipping Tasmanians over the age of 50 with vital technology skills is the focus of this year's Get Online Week, a series of events helping to ensure that those most vulnerable have the skills to protect themselves from scammers.
Navigating technology can be a tricky task.
It's good to keep up with technology because it changes all the time.
This cohort making it their mission to become more confident using the internet this Get Online Week. Workshops teaching a range of IT skills, from downloading games to taking photos and making calls.
There's a lot of fun things you can do on a computer, on a phone, on a tablet that cost nothing but give you a lot of enjoyment.
I go on finding world maps and games like that you can use on your computer to exercise the brain.
Find out how you get apps and that sort of thing. I'm really computer illiterate, unfortunately, since I left work.
New research shows more than half of Australians feel uncomfortable about changing technology, while 1 in 5 struggle to stay safe online with the increasing risk of scams.
You can look at the address, and just one little thing that could possibly be different. But once they've got you, they've got you.
Libraries across the state are also getting involved this week, offering free in-person support for scams as well as general online safety tips. But it isn't all work and no play. Community connection, the theme of this year's Senior Week celebrations in Glenorchy.
Everyone's here celebrating that they've reached these milestones in their life, and hopefully we can share with the next generation.
A celebration for the ages. Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
She might still be in high school, but North Hobart cricketer Mia Barwick is answering a shock call-up to the Hurricanes. The 13-year-old pace bowler is heading to Sydney to join the team for the end of the T20 Spring Challenge. She's coming into the squad to replace Heather Graham, who's flying to Dubai to join the Australian T20 World Cup squad. Graham's replaced the injured Taylor Valemic for the rest of that tournament. Meanwhile, the Canes' Spring Challenge continues on the right note as a not-out half-century from Ruth Johnston helped guide them to a relatively easy victory over the Scorchers this afternoon. The skipper smashing a boundary to surpass Perth's 136-run target with 5 overs to spare. After knocking his second first-class tart in the Shield last week, Brad Hope's keen to go for a third in front of his home crowd at the Wacker. But he's even more keen to balance the ledger for last season's final defeat when they face the West Aussies again from Sunday.
Yeah, if we can keep doing what we did last year, I think we played well over there. So yeah, hopefully we can reverse the result of the final and get a bit of revenge.
Fellow Shield centurion Bo Webster will continue to make his pitch for Test selection, named in the Australia A squad today. Opal's coach Senny Brondello's New York Liberty are back even with Hobart's Alana Smith and her Minnesota Lynx in the WNBA final. Smith shooting 14 points and making 2 assists as New York settled a convincing 80-66 win in Brooklyn this morning to go 1-1 in the best-of-5 series. Yeah, it's shaping up to be an interesting one, Lou. That's all in sport.
Wonderful, thank you for that, Nick. Kaya Wicks will join us after the break with the rest of your week's weather forecast.
Good
evening. Temperatures were 2 to 4 degrees below average in the south and east today. Hobart just 13, Launceston 18, Devonport 19 and 17 for Burnie. Now Luncheon Hill claimed the state's high with 21-18 at Low Head. King Island, Friendly Beaches and Strawn all 17, Bushy Park 16, Flinders Island and St Helens both 15, 14 at Maria Island and Grove and 11 in Lyowini. We saw cloud about the southeast and Furneaux Islands, which cleared in the early afternoon. A frontal band that crossed Tasmania this morning is moving away toward the Tasman Sea. Tomorrow a high will shift to the southeast of the state, while a cold front approaches the south of the Bight. Easterly winds 20 to 30 knots about northern waters, winds tending northeasterly increasing upward of 35 knots about the northwest, with southwesterly swells building to 3 metres. Now we have a gale warning tomorrow for the far northwest coast. There is also a strong wind warning for the central north coast and also for waters between Tasman Island to Sandy Cape and also for Storm Bay. A frost warning has also been issued for the Midlands and Upper Derwent Valley. More sunshine to our capital city tomorrow, Hobart 19, becoming windy but mostly sunny at Adventure Bay 16, 18 and fine after a morning frost for Tarraleah. Fine in Launceston 20, partly cloudy in Devonport 16 and much the same in Bridport with 17 there. Windy and partly cloudy conditions in Burnie 15, sunny in Strawn 20, winds on the increase for Marrawar 16. A cloudy day in St Helens 16 also, 17 and partly cloudy in Swansea and also at Whitemark. Fine on Wednesday until light showers develop about the west in the afternoon, extending to central and southeastern districts in the evening. Thursday fine except for light showers about the west. Now they'll clear in the afternoon. And on Friday, rain about the northwest extending statewide in the morning. Further north now, 33 and possible showers in Darwin, possible showers also in Brisbane 26, 18 and cloudy in Canberra. Some lovely sunshine right now in Hobart, Launceston and also in Devonport. And that is all in weather this Monday evening, Lou.
That's all your news for now. I'll be back later on with updates. Thanks for joining us tonight. Good night.